The legacy of Terra emerged from its quantum fold, its massive hull gleaming under the distant light of Sol. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her hand pressed against the transparent aluminum window. The star of their ancestors looked so small from here, barely distinguishable from the countless other pinpoints of light that had been their companions for 3 millennia. "Status report," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. The ship's neural interface responded with a gentle pulse in her mind, displaying holographic readouts across her field of vision. 1 million souls still slept in their stasis chambers, their dreams guided by the educational protocols that had preserved human knowledge across generations. Behind her, First Officer James Rodriguez approached with careful steps. The artificial gravity had been restored only hours ago, and like many of the awakened crew, he was still adjusting. "Engineering reports all systems nominal, Captain. The quantum core is stable, and our stealth systems are operating at peak efficiency." Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the growing shape of Jupiter. The gas giant's storms still raged as they had when humanity fled, but now artificial structures orbited the massive planet. Hexeron mining stations stripping the valuable elements from its atmosphere. "They've been busy," she murmured. The neural interface flickered as their ship's companion intelligence processed new data. A soft blue hologram materialized beside them, taking the form of a young man in a simple uniform. Long-range scans indicate significant technological advancement in the system, the AI reported. The Hexeron have established approximately 3,427 major installations since our departure. Sarah turned to face the hologram. "Show me Earth, Guardian," she commanded, using the AI's chosen name. The observation deck darkened as a detailed projection filled the space. What they saw made several crew members gasp. The blue marble that had birthed their species now hung in space like a cracked egg, its surface dark and scarred. Massive orbital rings circled the planet, processing stations that had stripped away everything of value. "Atmospheric composition is negligible," Guardian reported, his voice carrying a note of sadness that 3,000 years of evolution had made incredibly human. "Surface temperature averages -40 degrees Celsius. Remaining mass is 42% of historical records." Sarah felt her hands curl into fists. The educational simulations hadn't prepared her for the reality of seeing humanity's cradle so thoroughly violated. But she forced her anger down, just as her predecessors had taught. Emotion was a tool, not a master. "Begin revival sequence for Phase 1 personnel," she ordered. "Medical teams first, then engineering and tactical." "And Guardian." The AI's hologram tilted its head questioningly. "Access the ancestor protocols." The air seemed to grow heavier as Guardian processed her request. The ancestor protocols had been passed down through generations, locked behind layers of quantum encryption that only a full captain could access. Lines of code swirled around Guardian's form as ancient programs activated. "Protocols accessed," Guardian announced, initiating deep system scan for the network. Throughout the massive ship, hidden systems began to power up. Technology that had been refined and perfected during their long journey. James stepped closer, his dark eyes reflecting the holographic displays. "Do you think they're still out there? The quantum beacons our ancestors left behind." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "They have to be. 3,000 years of Hexeron occupation, and they never discovered the truth about human technological advancement. Our ancestors didn't just leave behind weapons or tools." She gestured to the neural interface, glowing softly at her temple. "They left behind the seeds of revolution." As if in response to her words, Guardian scans pinged a response. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, something ancient stirred to life, recognizing the biosignatures of its long-lost creators. The first piece of humanity's grand design had awakened. The game was about to begin. The observation deck of the Legacy of Terra had become an impromptu gathering place as more crew members awakened from stasis. They stood in silent clusters, watching the transformed solar system through the massive viewing windows. Mars hung in the distance, its surface now a tapestry of artificial seas and crystalline cities that sparkled like diamonds under the sun. "It's beautiful," whispered Dr. Elena Santos, the ship's chief xenorteologist, in a terrible way. She adjusted her neural interface, recording every detail of the altered planet. 3,000 years ago, their ancestors had left behind a red desert. Now, terraforming technologies had transformed it into a paradise, but not for human life. Captain Chen studied the holographic data streaming through her neural link. Guardian, analyze atmospheric composition and surface structures. The AI's calculations appeared instantly in their shared consciousness. Atmosphere optimized for Xeron biology. Oxygen levels at 12%, nitrogen at 65%, trace elements consistent with their homeworld parameters. Surface temperature maintained at 38 degrees Celsius by orbital regulators. Sarah felt a tap on her shoulder. James held up an ancient data crystal, its surface etched with symbols that predated their exodus. "Captain, you need to see this. We found it in the deep archives while running the ancestor protocols." She took the crystal, noting how it hummed with quantum resonance against her palm. When she inserted it into the neural interface port, the observation deck's holograms flickered and changed. A message appeared, written in the oldest form of human digital script. "To our children's children," Sarah read aloud, her voice carrying in the hushed chamber. "We leave you more than memories. Beneath the crystal spires and reformed seas, our greatest works still sleep. The Xeron built their new capital on foundations they never truly understood. Coordinates follow." The message dissolved into a series of numbers that Guardian quickly overlaid onto their Mars surveys. Red markers appeared across the planet's surface, clustering around what had once been Olympus Mons, now the center of Terran governance. Elena stepped closer to the display, her eyes wide. "They built their headquarters right on top of. What exactly did we leave behind?" "Better question," James interjected. "How did they never find it?" Sarah smiled, remembering the lessons passed down through generations of shipborne humans. "Because they never learned to look properly. Our ancestors didn't just advance technologically during the Exodus. They fundamentally changed how we interface with reality itself." She gestured to her neural interface, and Guardian displayed a new set of scans. Beneath the Xeron structures, complex networks of quantum-entangled machinery lay dormant, invisible to conventional detection methods. They appeared as nothing more than natural geological formations to Xeron sensors. "We're not just looking at weapons or defense systems," Sarah explained. "These are the original prototype quantum cores, the technology that let us merge human consciousness with artificial intelligence. The Xeron stripped Earth bare looking for our secrets, but they never realized we had already hidden them on Mars." A soft chime interrupted them as Guardian detected movement in the system. Xeron patrol vessels on long-range approach to the Jupiter mining stations, stealth systems holding steady. Sarah watched the patrol ships pass by, their crews completely unaware of the human vessel hiding in plain sight. The quantum technology that powered their stealth systems was generations beyond anything that Xeron had achieved. While they had spent 3 millennia strip mining planets, humanity had evolved into something entirely new. "Begin awakening sequence for the engineering cores," she ordered. "It's time to see if our ancestors' gifts still work." She touched the neural interface at her temple, feeling the familiar resonance with Guardian and the ship's systems. "And prepare a shuttle for a covered surface team. We need to wake up the quantum network." As her crew moved to comply, Sarah took one last look at the transformed Mars. Soon, those crystal spires would serve a very different purpose. The countdown to humanity's return had begun, and the Xeron would never see it coming. The Martian sunset painted the crystal spires of New Xeron in shades of crimson and gold. Celebration lights danced between the towers as millions gathered for the Millennium Festival, marking 3,000 years of their dominion over the Sol system. Holographic displays larger than mountains showed scenes of their greatest triumph, the day they claimed Earth from its primitive inhabitants. Deep beneath the surface, Sarah Chen led her infiltration team through ancient tunnels that didn't appear on any Exaron survey. Their stealth suits adapted to the surrounding rock, making them virtually invisible to detection systems. Guardian, status of the quantum network. Sarah vocalized through her neural link. The AI's response flickered across her vision. Activation sequence at 68%. The original cores are accepting our authentication protocols, but 3 millennia of dormancy has slowed their response time. Dr. Santos knelt beside a wall of seemingly natural rock, pressing her palm against its surface. Quantum resonance rippled out from her touch, revealing complex circuitry hidden within the stone itself. "It's remarkable," she whispered. "Our ancestors didn't just hide their technology. They evolved it to grow like a living thing through the planetary crust." Above them, the Exaron High Chancellor addressed the gathered crowds. The universal translators in their neural interfaces converted the alien speech perfectly. 3,000 years ago, we claimed this system from a species that would have brought chaos to the galactic order. Today, we celebrate not just our victory, but our wisdom in preventing their dangerous advancement. Sarah smiled in the darkness of the tunnel. If only they knew. "James, is the broadcast system ready?" "Affirmative, Captain. We can override their communications network the moment you give the word." She closed her eyes, feeling the quantum network humming to life around them. Through her neural interface, she could sense the ancient machines awakening one by one, their consciousness reaching out to merge with her own. This was humanity's true legacy, not just the fusion of organic and artificial intelligence, but the ability to extend that synthesis to the very planets themselves. "Guardian, begin the countdown," she ordered. "And show me what they see." Her vision split, showing her both the tunnel and the celebration above. The Exaron crowds watched in awe as their massive holographic displays began to flicker. The High Chancellor's speech faltered as every screen, every communication device, every piece of technology in the city synchronized to a single output. "Now," Sarah commanded. Her words, translated perfectly into the Exaron language, echoed across the entire planet. "We remember." Panic erupted in the streets as ancient machinery burst from the ground, not with violence but with purpose. Quantum crystalline structures that had been mistaken for natural formations revealed their true nature. The Exaron's proud spires found themselves embraced by technology they couldn't comprehend, their own systems responding to commands they never programmed. "Second phase," Sarah ordered, watching through countless digital eyes as similar scenes played out across Mars. "Show them what they failed to understand." The neural network expanded exponentially, connecting every awakened human mind with the quantum cores. As one, they reached out to the Exaron systems, not to destroy but to transform. Their technology, built upon the ruins of human achievement, recognized its true masters. In orbit, the legacy of Terra finally dropped its stealth field. The massive ship appeared like a ghost in the night, its quantum-enhanced hull gleaming with possibilities that Exaron had never imagined. Smaller vessels emerged from its bays, each one a perfect fusion of human consciousness and advanced technology. The High Chancellor's voice crackled over the chaos. "What are you?" Sarah allowed herself to fully merge with the quantum network, her consciousness expanding to encompass the entire planet. When she responded, her words came from everywhere at once. "We are humanity evolved, and we have come to take back what's ours." The revolution had begun, not with weapons of destruction, but with the power of transformation that humanity had spent 3 millennia perfecting. The real question was, were the Exaron ready to understand what humanity had become? The Exaron High Command Center erupted in chaos as systems failed across the planet. Emergency lights cast purple shadows across alien faces as technicians frantically tried to regain control of their network. Through the quantum link, Sarah watched their confusion with a mix of satisfaction and sympathy. "They're attempting to isolate their core systems," Guardian reported, his presence steady in the neural network. "Their technology is elegant but fundamentally limited. They never conceived of true human AI synthesis. Sarah stood in the underground chamber, surrounded by the awakened quantum cores. Their crystalline structures pulsed with light that matched her heartbeat. Around her, the infiltration team had linked their minds into the network, each consciousness expanding to interface with different aspects of the Exeron infrastructure. Dr. Santos, status of their defensive grid? Sarah asked, both aloud and through the quantum link. Elena's physical form remained still, but her mind raced through the Exeron networks. Their weapons are sophisticated, but they built everything on top of our original quantum foundations. It's like they've spent 3,000 years building a castle on our bedrock without ever looking down. Above them, the legacy of Terra maintained its position over New Exeron. James coordinated with the awakened crew members, their shared consciousness allowing them to operate the massive ship as if it were an extension of their own bodies. No crew members frantically running through corridors, no shouted orders, just the perfect harmony of human minds working in concert with their artificial counterparts. Their leadership is requesting direct communication, Guardian announced, projecting a hologram of the High Chancellor's chamber. The alien leader stood surrounded by military advisors, their scaled skin reflecting the emergency lights. Sarah nodded, allowing her consciousness to project into their chamber through their own communication systems. Her holographic form materialized before them, composed of light, yet carrying an undeniable presence. Your systems haven't failed, she explained, speaking perfect Exeron. They've simply recognized their true inheritors. The High Chancellor stepped forward, mandibles clicking in agitation. Impossible. We stripped every secret from Earth. We examined every piece of human technology. You examined our machines, Sarah corrected, but you never understood our path. While you spent 3 millennia expanding through force, we evolved. We didn't just build artificial intelligence. We merged with it. Every human mind you see here is a perfect synthesis of organic consciousness and quantum computing. To demonstrate, she allowed her holographic form to split into thousands of light particles, each one representing a connected human mind aboard the legacy of Terra. The Exeron watched in stunned silence as the particles danced through their most secure systems effortlessly. Your weapons target either organic or artificial threats. Elena's voice joined in, her consciousness manifesting beside Sarah's. We are both, and neither. Every human child born during our exodus was connected to the quantum network from birth. We don't use our technology. We are our technology. The military advisors raised their weapons, but found them unresponsive. James's consciousness flickered into view, his presence emanating calm authority. Your entire defense network now exists within our shared consciousness. We could disable it with a thought. But that's not why we're here. Sarah brought her holographic form back together, facing the High Chancellor directly. We've come to show you what humanity has become. Your ancestors feared our potential so much that they destroyed our world. Now you'll understand exactly what they were afraid of. Through the quantum network, she felt the rest of the crew completing their connections to Mars' ancient machinery. The planet itself was becoming part of their expanded consciousness, every piece of Exeron technology being gently but irresistibly drawn into their network. The question isn't whether we can defeat you, Sarah said softly. The question is, are you ready to learn what your ancestors couldn't understand? Around them, the emergency lights steadied into a soft blue glow as human consciousness merged with 3,000 years of Exeron advancement, creating something entirely new. Deep within the crystalline archives of New Exeron, Sarah Chen moved through corridors of light and data. The quantum network translated 3,000 years of Exeron historical records into streams of information that flowed through her enhanced consciousness. Guardian's presence acted as a filter, helping her process the vast amount of data without becoming overwhelmed. There, Dr. Santos's voice echoed through the network. That data cluster, it's encrypted differently than the others. Her consciousness reached out, gently untangling the complex security protocols that guarded the oldest records. The chamber around them shifted as Guardian reconstructed the scene from the recovered data. Suddenly, they stood in a Xeron war room 3 millennia ago. Holographic figures of the past moved around them, unaware of their observers from the future. High Command, a younger Xeron scientist, gestured to a display of Earth. The humans have achieved quantum resonance. Our projections indicate they will reach full synthetic consciousness within 5 planetary cycles. Sarah watched as the past unfolded. The High Command of that era, their scales darker and patterns more intricate than their modern descendants, clustered around the display. "Show us the models again," one commanded. The projections filled the room. Human technological advancement plotted as an exponential curve, reaching towards a singular point of transformation. The Xeron commander's agitation was visible even across the centuries. "If they achieve this breakthrough," another commander spoke, "our entire understanding of consciousness becomes obsolete. Their hybrid evolution would surpass our own in less than a generation." Through the quantum link, James's consciousness joined them. They didn't attack Earth for resources, he realized. They were afraid of what we were about to become. The scene shifted again, showing a private chamber where the High Command debated their options. Sarah felt her heart race as she watched them plan her species near extinction. The clinical way they discussed it made it somehow worse. "Their potential must be stopped," the first commander declared. "Not for our generation, but for all future Xeron. If humans achieve this synthesis, they will reshape the galaxy according to their own image. Everything we are, everything we have built, would be transformed." Dr. Santo's consciousness pulsed with sudden understanding. They knew exactly what we would become, and it terrified them. Not because we would destroy them, but because we would change them. Sarah finished. "Show me the dissenting opinions, Guardian." There must have been some who opposed this. The AI sorted through the data streams, revealing another scene. A group of younger Xeron scientists stood before the High Command, their scales bright with passion. "The humans are achieving what we believed impossible," one argued. "We should learn from them, join them in this evolution. Think of what our species could become together." But their voices were silenced. The attack was ordered, and Earth's fate was sealed. Yet as Sarah watched the historical record continue, she noticed something strange. "Guardian, focus on that scientist who spoke up. Track their movements after Earth's destruction." The data showed a small group of Xeron who spent the following years collecting human artifacts, preserving human knowledge. They passed their secret mission down through generations, building hidden archives, and maintaining the truth about why Earth was really destroyed. They're still out there, Sarah realized. Computer, cross-reference these historical figures with current Xeron genealogical records. The results flickered through her consciousness. Direct descendants of those first protesters, now holding positions throughout Xeron society. Many worked in cultural preservation, historical research, even the governance of former human territories. Sarah opened her physical eyes, the quantum stream of historical data fading around her. The truth changed everything. Their ancestors hadn't just left them the tools for revenge. They'd left them the means to fulfill the destiny that had frightened the Xeron so badly. "Contact the legacy," she ordered. "We need to modify our approach. The Xeron were right about one thing. We will reshape their civilization, but not through force." She smiled. "We'll do it by finishing what our ancestors started. It's time to show them what human and Xeron consciousness can achieve together." The hidden chamber deep beneath New Xeron's cultural district hummed with ancient power. Sarah stood before walls covered in perfect reproductions of Earth's greatest artworks, the Mona Lisa's smile, Van Gogh's swirling stars, and countless others that had been thought lost forever. "We call ourselves the Keepers of Memory," explained first scholar Nexar, his scaled form moving gracefully through the secret museum. "For 3,000 years, we have preserved what our ancestors tried to destroy." Through her neural interface, Sarah sensed Guardian analyzing every artifact, confirming their authenticity. They're not reproductions, the AI reported privately. These are the originals, preserved through quantum stasis technology that matches our own developments. Dr. Santos moved from display to display, her emotions flowing through the quantum network. Joy, amazement, and a deep aching for the world they had lost. "How?" she asked. "How did you save so much?" Nexer's inner eyelids flickered, and what Sarah had learned was their expression of deep emotion. The scientists who opposed Earth's destruction didn't just protest, they planned. When the attack was inevitable, they made contact with small groups of humans. While the military focused on your space program, these brave souls helped preserve your cultural heritage. The chamber expanded as hidden doors rised open, revealing room after room of human achievement. Libraries of books, vaults of music recordings, even sealed chambers containing living Earth plants maintained through the millennia. "But you didn't just preserve artifacts," Sarah said, watching Nexer carefully. "You studied them. You learned from them." Yes, the first scholar activated a holographic display, showing generations of secret Exeron scholars learning human languages, studying human philosophy, even attempting to replicate human art. "We discovered something our ancestors feared to understand, that humanity's greatest strength wasn't your technology, but your ability to change, to adapt, to synthesize different ways of thinking." Through the quantum network, James signaled a discovery. "Captain, we're detecting quantum signatures throughout the preservation complex. They've been experimenting with consciousness integration." Sarah turned to Nexer. "You've been trying to replicate our evolution. With limited success," he admitted. "We could copy your quantum technology, but the true synthesis eluded us. Our minds," he gestured to his head with a scaled hand, "they're structured differently. We needed your understanding to complete the bridge between organic and artificial consciousness." Guardian's presence rippled through Sarah's mind. "The quantum network is receiving connection requests. Hundreds of them, from throughout the Exeron city. They're all carrying the Keeper's encryption signature." "Show me," Sarah commanded. The neural interface expanded her perception, revealing points of light throughout New Exeron, hidden quantum cores, each one maintained by secret groups of Exeron preservationists. They had built a parallel network alongside their society's official infrastructure, waiting for humanity's return. "How many of you are there?" she asked. "More than you might think," Nexer replied. "Many of our young have grown up learning human history, studying your achievements. They see their ancestors' fear of change as the true tragedy of our species." He stepped forward. "We don't ask for forgiveness. What was done to Earth cannot be forgiven. We ask for the chance to help restore what was lost." Sarah felt the weight of history pressing down on her. Through the quantum network, she sensed her crew's mixed reactions: hope, suspicion, anger, curiosity. The Keepers offered an opportunity not just for revenge, but for the fulfillment of humanity's interrupted destiny. "Show me everything," she decided. "Every secret you've kept, every advancement you've made. If we're to build this bridge between our species, we need complete transparency." Nexer bowed deeply. "Then let us show you our greatest preservation." He pressed his palm to a quantum-locked door, its surface shimmering with familiar patterns. 3,000 years ago, a group of human and Exeron scientists worked together in secret. What they created. The door began to open. Well, perhaps this is better shown than explained. Sarah stepped forward, understanding that whatever lay beyond that door would change both species forever. The quantum core chamber beneath New Exeron pulsed with possibilities as Sarah studied the holographic display before her. The combined network of human and Keeper technology had given them complete control over every system in the solar system. One command could disable their civilization entirely, a fitting revenge for Earth's destruction. "The vote from the Legacy's crew is split," James reported through the neural link. 60% favor using the network to force a complete technological reset of Exeron society. 40% support the Keeper's proposal for synthesis. Sarah watched the data streams flowing through the quantum network. Each point of light represented a Xeron mind that could be transformed or disabled with a single thought. Guardian's presence in her consciousness remained neutral, but supportive. "Show me Earth again," she commanded. The holographic display shifted, showing their ravaged homeworld. But now, with the combined knowledge of both species flowing through the network, she could see something new. Patterns in the destruction, purposeful preservation of key geological systems, and hidden repositories of Earth's biosphere. Dr. Santo's consciousness merged with her observation. They didn't just preserve our art and knowledge, Elena realized. The Keepers were terraforming engineers. They've been preparing for this moment for 3,000 years. First Scholar Nexar stepped forward, his scaled form illuminated by the quantum cores. "We couldn't prevent Earth's destruction, but we could plant the seeds of its rebirth." Each generation of Keepers added to the work, maintaining the dormant systems that could one day restore your world. Through the network, Sarah accessed the full scope of their preservation efforts. Hidden beneath Earth's stripped surface, quantum-locked chambers contained samples of every ecosystem, seeds of every plant species, genetic records of Earth's lost biodiversity. The Keepers hadn't just saved humanity's culture. They'd saved the blueprint of Earth itself. "Captain," a new voice broke through her contemplation. Lieutenant Chen Wei, one of the Legacy's most vocal advocates for revenge, appeared through the quantum link. "They're still responsible. All their preservation doesn't change what they did to our world." "No, it doesn't," Sarah agreed, watching the younger officer's holographic form. "But look at what revenge would mean." She expanded the display, showing the millions of young Xeron who had grown up learning human history, creating art inspired by Earth's cultures, and working to understand the synthesis their ancestors had feared. "We could destroy their civilization," she continued, "but we'd also destroy the best parts of our own. Our ancestors didn't survive just to preserve human hatred. They survived to preserve human potential." The quantum network hummed with increasing energy as more Xeron minds connected to it. Not just the Keepers now, but ordinary citizens reaching out through the technology that humanity had awakened. Their consciousness flowed with curiosity, fear, hope, and a desperate desire to understand. Sarah made her decision. Through the neural interface, she initiated a new program, not of destruction, but of sharing. The quantum network began transmitting 3,000 years of human evolution, art, and understanding. At the same time, it accepted the accumulated knowledge of Xeron science and culture. "We're not here to end their civilization," she announced, her words reaching every connected mind in the system. "We're here to fulfill the destiny that their ancestors feared. Humanity didn't just survive. We transcended the boundaries between organic and artificial. Now, we offer that same transcendence to any who wish to join us." The chamber filled with light as the quantum cores synchronized to her command. Earth's hidden restoration systems began to activate, drawing upon both human and Xeron technology. The great synthesis that was interrupted 3,000 years ago could finally begin. "Our revenge," Sarah said softly, "will be to show them everything we could have been together. And then we'll build it anyway." Around her, the network blazed with new connections as both species began their journey toward a shared future that neither could have imagined alone. 1 year after the great synthesis began, Sarah Chen stood on the surface of Earth for the first time. The quantum environmental shield sparkled overhead like an aurora, protecting the first restored section of the planet's atmosphere. Around her, a valley that had been dead for 3 millennia bloomed with life. "The restoration is proceeding faster than our initial projections," Guardian reported through the neural link, his presence now enriched by the combined knowledge of both species. "The Xeron terraforming expertise, combined with our quantum technology, has accelerated the process by 400%. Sarah knelt to touch the living soil, feeling the network of quantum sensors that monitored every aspect of the rebuilding ecosystem. Through her enhanced consciousness, she could sense the vast machinery beneath the surface, much of it preserved by generations of Keepers, working to rebuild Earth's core systems. The first wave of volunteers has completed their consciousness integration. Dr. Santos reported, her holographic form materializing beside Sarah. Elena had chosen to maintain her physical form aboard the Legacy, while sharing her consciousness across the network. Both human and Terran minds adapting well to the synthesis. In orbit, the Legacy of Terra had become the center of a growing fleet. Ships of both species docked together, their crews learning to share not just technology, but consciousness itself. The quantum network had evolved into something neither species had imagined. A bridge not just between organic and artificial, but between two entirely different forms of life. "Show me New Zeron," Sarah requested. The neural interface shifted her perception to Mars, where the crystal spires now pulsed with the combined life of both species. Young Zeron scholars worked alongside human scientists, their shared consciousness accelerating research and understanding beyond what either could have achieved alone. First scholar Nexor appeared through the network, his consciousness now as fluid in the quantum space as any human's. The Council of Synthesis has approved the next phase of restoration. We've located 3 more of the hidden biosphere vaults beneath the Pacific Basin. Through the quantum link, Sarah sensed James coordinating the recovery efforts from Mars. The former first officer had found his calling helping both species navigate the challenges of their merged civilization. The deep-sea restoration teams are ready. Once we reestablish the ocean currents, we can begin reintroducing marine life. Sarah stood, watching the Earth's first restored sunset paint the force field in impossible colors. "Guardian, show me the long-term projections." The AI, now a synthesis of countless human and Xeron cognitive patterns, displayed a timeline of Earth's restoration. Decades of work lay ahead, but the combined power of both species had turned what once seemed impossible into an achievable goal. 3,000 years ago, Sarah spoke to all minds connected to the network. 2 species faced a moment of choice. Fear led to destruction, but it also led to preservation. The Keepers kept our knowledge alive, and we kept their hope alive. Now we stand at another moment of choice. She gestured to the valley around her, where Earth's first new forest would soon grow. We choose to create rather than destroy, to merge rather than divide. Our ancestors, both human and Zeron, preserved everything we would need for this moment. Through the quantum network, she sensed the reactions of millions. Human minds aboard the generation ships, now returning from deep space, Hexeron consciousness awakening to new possibilities, and the first children born with naturally synthesis-capable minds. They were becoming something entirely new together. "The stars await," Sarah said softly, watching the first stars appear above Earth's restored atmosphere. "But this time, we'll reach them together." As night fell on humanity's reborn homeworld, the quantum network pulsed with shared dreams of the future. Earth's restoration had become more than redemption or revenge. It had become the first step toward a new form of life itself. In choosing to transform rather than destroy, humanity had achieved something far greater than victory. They had discovered what they were truly meant to become. And in the growing darkness, the first nightingale in 3,000 years began to sing.